Alright, so you've always loved the blues, but you don't quite understand it fully or how this 12-bar progression works? Well, stay tuned to this video. I'm going to show you the two most important 12-bar blues progressions and how to play on them. Hey, I'm Daniel Seriff, and on this channel, every week, I'm sharing with you the things that I've learned over the last 15 years as a professional guitarist and instructor, and I'm sharing them with you, the intermediate guitarist, so that you can learn everything you need to know in order to improve. So if you're new here, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button below, and make sure to ding that bell so you know every time I upload a new video. So in this lesson today, by the end of the lesson, you're going to know the two most important 12-bar blues chord progressions. And today we're going to talk about these chord progressions in the key of A. Alright, so first let's go ahead and jump into the A dominant blues chord progression. Alright, so this first 12-bar chord progression is going to use dominant seventh chords. Now if you don't know about dominant sevenths and the theory behind them, that's okay. But I'm sure all of you have played this dominant 7-bar chord right here. And if not, you might have played this shape. If that's unfamiliar to you, that's okay. I'm gonna have diagrams on the screen. You can grab those chords, so no problem. And it'll be a good thing to learn for you as a new bar chord shape. So in this 12-bar blues, 12 bars means that we have 12 total measures. And then if we're using this song form, then we're gonna repeat those chords over and over and over and over until the end of the song. And that's how classic blueses work. Now, a great tune that you might wanna check out is Sweet Home Chicago.
Come on, oh baby, don't you wanna go? Come on.
That is a great classic 12-bar blues that follows this dominant 7-chord style. Right, so in this 12-bar blues, we're going to use the 1 chord, which is A, the 4 chord, which is D, and the 5 chord, which is going to be E. And again, to reiterate, these are all dominant 7 chords. Now, what happens a lot of times to guitar players is this is the first blues they might learn. They might learn it with these classic open dominant 7 chords, A7, D7, and E7. And that's great, and that's gonna work really well if you're accompanying your voice, but it's nice to get these movable chord shapes. And if you're unfamiliar with movable chord shapes, you can go ahead and check out my last video that I talked about the cage system, and you'll learn there about some different movable chords that you can use. So, let's talk about the form of this song. 12 bars, which means 12 total measures. We're typically going to count this in a 4/4 time signature, right? So we would go 1, 2, 3, 4 per measure, 4 beats of each chord. Okay, there's this one thing that happens in this classic kind of dominant 7 blues, and that is a thing called the quick change. That's where we have one measure of A7, a measure of D7 right away. That's that quick change. We go to that 4 chord, back to A7 for a measure, another measure of A7, then we go to D7, another measure of D7, and back to A7, and stay on A7. Now we go to what people call the turnaround. We've got E7 for a measure, down to D7, back to A7. And a lot of times we'll just throw a little E7 or some kind of variation on the end. Now that's one of the more straightforward versions of the chord progression. I don't have time in this video to go through all of them, but there are tons of variations that you could do that could push you more into the jazzy realm or more into the classic blues realm where you have maybe even less chords rather than more. So again, this is a very straightforward version. A7, D7, A7, A7, D7, D7, A7, A7. E7, D7, A7, E7. Now, if you heard it in the context of a band, it might sound like this. So there you go. That's the sound of the A dominant blues. And what a lot of times people do, guitar players do, is that when they want to improvise on this kind of sound, they instantly go to the minor pentatonic scale. Now I just played classic box shape number 1, A minor pentatonic. And the interesting thing about this scale is it will work across the entire chord progression. Now, one of the funny things that confuses people is that we're taking these dominant 7 chords and we're playing a minor pentatonic scale over it, right? So technically, we're playing a minor scale over major chords. And that's okay. What that does is that essentially just gives us the sound of the blues. That's kind of built in to the blues. It's part of the sound. It's playing this kind of minor pentatonic over those dominant 7 chords. However, most of the great blues guitar players actually blend between the minor pentatonic or the major pentatonic. All right, so if you have any questions so far or thoughts about this lesson, go ahead, leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. You know, if you already know about this stuff, but you had some thoughts about some chord substitutions or an approach you have to improvising on a blues like this, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so now let's talk about the form and the chords that fit inside of the minor blues progression. Again, we're using the 12-bar form. And a great example of a song that uses this progression is the great Thrill Is Gone song by B.B. King.
Thrill is gone. Thrill is gone away.
It's a wonderful song that uses this chord progression, and so you should check it out. And the thing about B.B. is he played it in some different keys. He would play it in C minor or B minor. Over the course of his career. That doesn't matter so much because the neat thing about this progression and the dominant 7 chord progression that we talked about is you could put it in any key that you want. Okay, so let's talk through these chords in this 12-bar form. So the first chord we're going to use is a classic minor 7 chord. I like this version. And unlike the dominant blues, you typically don't have a quick change in this minor blues progression. So we'll have 4 measures of A minor 7. That's 1, 2, repeat. Then we go to D minor 7. So not D7, we're actually going to D minor 7. All right, we've got 2 measures of that. And then back to A minor 7 for 2 measures. And here's where the fun part. Instead of having this 5-4-1 progression for the turnaround like we did in the dominant blues, we're actually going to have a flat 6 to 5, back to 1 to 5 again. Okay, so again, that's gonna be F7, that's F dominant 7, down a half step to E7, back to the A minor 7, and E7 again. Now here's the thing. You totally could run across a different version of this progression that uses the chords a little bit differently. But in this video, I just wanted to present the dominant style blues, that kind of major dominant sound, and the minor style blues, the minor blues with that flat 6-5 turnaround in this video. That's really all I have time for in this video. And again, these are 2 of the most common. Okay, so let's check out how this might sound in context. Alrighty, so you heard that I chose kind of a funky backbeat kind of groove for this song, much like in the style of B.B. King's Thrill Is Gone. And I wanted to use that because that's kind of common for this minor sound. It's a little more chill, it's more cool sounding, and it works really great. Okay, so if you were to improvise on this song, it would be great to just use the A minor pentatonic scale. Now, a couple videos back, I presented a really amazing way to play the minor pentatonic all across the guitar neck. And you should check that video out. I'll make sure to put it above here and you can click on it there. And you can learn this diagonal pentatonic scale across the entire guitar neck and improvise freely like this. All right, so with this lesson today, I decided that I wanted to include some scale shapes for you to play, as well as these two backing tracks that you just heard. So if you just click the link below, you can see, go over to my website, you can snag these backing tracks for free, as well as these neck diagrams for the scales, and I hope you have a great time jamming on it. So that's all for today. I just wanted to show you these two main and really important 12-bar blues chord progressions. Again, we have the dominant style chords, and then we have the minor sevens that have that dominant turnaround with the flat 6 down to 5, like Thrill Is Gone, right? So make sure to check out Sweet Home Chicago and Thrill Is Gone. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I'm always happy to take questions and answer them for you in the comments. And you know, if you're interested in some more help in anything guitar related, go ahead and head over to my website, danielseriff.com, and there you'll find a bunch of more information and free lessons that will help you very much in your guitar playing. All right, I'll see you next week. I hope you have a great day. Take care and see you soon.